Hello everybody, welcome back to the table. Today we're going to take a look at the CRKT 9911, the hex bit driver tool roll. And I picked this one up from knifeworks.com, and in my opinion, you never really can have too many Torx bits around the house, and so I like to have a lot on hand, so no matter where I am, I always have one close at hand. So I'm always picking up Torx bits, Torx drivers, just various toolkits that I can get my hands on because, again, I like to have more than I need. And so this kit right here is a leather tool roll, and it comes with Weehaw bits, which is very nice, and it folds them up into this nice compact package. And so it's made out of leather, and opening it up, you can see there is a strap that holds it shut with the CRKT logo, as well as the Scout Tools Design logo on it as well. And so I don't see the Scout Tools design anywhere in the description on the CRKT website, but I'm assuming maybe they collaborated with them to get this made. The leather itself has a very smooth texture. Now, I'm not a leather expert by any means, so take this with a grain of salt. But it doesn't feel quite as premium as a lot of other leather products I own. For instance, before we even look too deep into it, I'll compare it to a couple of items I have. One is a leather wallet right here, and you can just see a difference in the texture. And I know there are many, many varieties of textured leather out there, but just seeing the difference, I mean, it feels different in hand. The tool roll here has kind of like a glossy feel to it. And same thing right here, we have a leather knife slip from traditional pocket knives. And again, just the hand feel, it makes me question how well this is going to weather, being unrolled and rolled up again and again over the years. Or if you just throw it in a bag and it gets scuffed, it'll be interesting to see how it wears. But that being said, it is rather a budget item, so I'm not surprised that they're using more inexpensive leather than some other products out there. But looking at the product itself, opening it up, we see all of the bits contained in there. They're kind of they're held in these little holes, which you can easily enough get the pieces out. But it is kind of loosey-goosey, so it is kind of not super secure. Now, I've only had one fall out once so far, so that may be an uncommon occurrence. And right in the middle is really the star of the show. We have this brass driver, and pulling that out, we'll come to some of the flaws here later, but looking at the actual driver itself, it runs on bearings, has the CRKT logo, it's made out of brass, so it seems to be pretty well made, in my opinion, at least this part of it. So there's a CRKT logo on the brass handle. On the rear, again, we see the Scout Tools design. And it's interesting how they were able to incorporate a bearing in there just to keep it really smooth to operate. And so, that being said, I like the overall appeal of the product. I'm not really sold yet on the idea of having a tool roll as opposed to, a more common, plastic case or something for a set of drivers. But really the flaw with this particular set that I have, and this is probably just for mine, but anytime you mass manufacture something, sometimes you get defects. And so mine was a defect. And the defect on mine is that all of the bits here are held in by a magnet inside the driver. And so the driver on mine, the glue was not properly applied. So immediately upon opening the roll, the whole bit just fell right out, and you can see the magnet is attached to the bit. And so, of course, that's doing its job, but the glue holding that magnet inside of the driver just broke off. So there's no way to keep that in there. And so if you hold the driver upside down, the bit just slides right on out. And so that was kind of disappointing to see the lack of quality control on this particular sample. And that combined with my hand feel of the leather, making it feel not as premium, kind of gives me an overall negative opinion on the product. I did reach out to KnifeWorks, I reached out to CRKT directly, and both were happy to have me send this back in and get it replaced, because of course there's a warranty on a brand new product. Neither company did offer to provide a shipping label, unfortunately. So I'd be out of my own pocket, $8-9, whatnot, to send this in to get it replaced. So that's kind of unfortunate, and I don't really feel like sending it in. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some super glue back in the driver, stick the magnet in, and hope that it sticks. Now, if that doesn't work, sure, I'll send it in. But I definitely would rather try to fix it myself just to avoid the whole process of losing the device for a week or so while they go through that process. So overall, coming straight out of the box, I do have a rather, negative opinion of the item, simply because it doesn't feel as good as it looks in pictures. The grain of the leather in the pictures looked a little bit nicer than, in my opinion, than it looks here in person. As long as I eventually get a functional driver, that's what matters. The good news is I do have now another set of Wiha Torx bits. So out of the 13 bits provided, 7 of them, it looks like, are Torx, and 3 of them are flathead, and 3 are Phillips head. So that's kind of a full set kit that's going to get you through a lot of the stuff you might need in the knife world, and then some. But it's great to have one on hand, and so I don't really regret buying one, because of course, had this worked out of the box, I'd probably be ecstatic right now. But I thought I'd share my experience, because again, when they contract these things out to China and have them made en masse, eventually you get 1 or 2 lemons that come out of the gate. And so unfortunately I got one this time. In the past, I've been super lucky not getting lemons on my knives, on my tools, so it's bound to happen eventually. And so I don't necessarily blame CRKT or even KnifeWorks. When an item is truly defective, it would be nice if either place to provide a paid return label, because it's not necessarily the customer's fault when something is defective. That should be something that's completely taken care of on their end, and I shouldn't have to badger them about it either. That should just be immediately offered. So again, I'm not trying to call them out or anything, but that's just good customer service there. So I am going to keep this. I am going to attempt to glue it and repair it. Should be pretty straightforward, I think. But I did want to share my out-of-the-box opinion on the Hexbit driver tool roll. We'll see how it ages and how it carries over time, and maybe we'll revisit this again in the future. So hope this video was somewhat enlightening for you. If you do have any comments, feel free to leave one below, and I'm happy to have you watch. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.